Good evening and welcome to the April 9th, 2018 Florida Town Board meeting. To the best of my knowledge, there was anyone in the town who passed away during the past month, so we will move on with the agenda. First thing we need is an approval for the agenda for this evening.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Aye votes aye.
Aye.
Any nays, any abstentions? Next, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular town board meeting on March 12th, 2018.
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Any discussion needed? Aye votes aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Next is the financial report for the month of March 2018. The receipts of the general fund were in the amount of $106,338.07. The disbursements to the general fund were in the amount of $512,308.74. And for the highway, they were $105,347.62. The, get to the right page here. The checkbook balances at the end of March 31st, 2018 for the general fund was $94,762.47. The highway fund, $81,141.28. The youth commission, $1,295.46. Hadlock Dam project, $239.93. The Hadlock Park District Fund, $12,045.29. Consolidated Health District, $1,107.63. The Trust and Agency Fund, $334.33. The Medical Reimbursement Fund, $3,220.56. The savings account balances for the general fund, $595,117.59. The Hadlock Park District, $194,128.15. The Highway Fund, $911,592.71. And LoSAP, $22,240.06. Next, we need a motion to approve the payment of the bills and to pay the bills.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any discussion needed? Aye votes aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Next on the agenda is the opportunity for the public to comment on this evening's agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this evening's agenda? Since I see no hands, let's move on with the other agenda. Next is the supervisor's report. Gretchen, we received a letter from Make-A-Wish thanking you and the town board for the fishing derby on Hadlock Pond early this year. I appreciate it. Next, I'd like to give you an update on the Hogtown Culvert. As you know, we applied for a grant and we were successful on that. The engineering for a GPI, they are just about finished with the engineering report and they hope to go to advertise the job sometime in early May of next month. And once that happens, then the people have, and the bids will be out for a period of time, and then we'll get the bids and open those once they're received. All of the necessary permits are either been received or are about to be received in the next week. So that's moving along fairly well. Farley Road. Those of you who may have driven on Farley Road in the last 10 days or 2 weeks may have noticed that there's some barrels out, orange barrels on the side of the road. There's been a bank collapse. It's not on our property. It's about 25 feet from our road. Paul's been monitoring it on a daily basis, and it hasn't moved. He hasn't marked with markers so that each day he can see if it's encroaching any further. And since it's did collapse, it has not moved any closer to the road. But it's being looked at. Paul had the county down to take a look at it, and they said right now it seems to be okay. But he continues to monitor it on a daily basis. Next, I'm pleased to be able to report that the New York State Justice Court Assistance Program has awarded the judge a grant in the amount of $7,292.60. And some of the things that are going to happen is the floor is going to be redone. They're going to replace these chairs. So later on in the meeting, we'll probably declare these chairs as surplus part. We'll do a resolution, if you could remind me to declare them as surplus. He's going to get a new desk and a chair for his office, a couple of filing cabinets, and a wall seal for the judge. The nice part about this, it doesn't cost the town any money. It comes just out of the court system. Last week I received a letter regarding the 28th Georgia Company Civil War reenactors. The 123rd New York Monument dedication ceremony is going to take place on Saturday, May 19th, 2018 at 5 o'clock in Resica, Georgia. So if there's anybody who's interested, Barbara will put this flyer up on the wall. And if you're interested, you can let us know. And I just want to make it clear that the town doesn't have any money to help pay for any of the travel to
How
Georgia.
long do you need for me to go?
Okay, the next thing I want to chat about is at the county level. You may have read in the newspaper that Washington County was trying to raise the tax for the purchase of a home from the 1.25% up to 1.5%. So they're trying to get a 0.25% increase. And Warren, Saratoga, Essex, they're all at 1.5. We're at 1.25. The reason we'd like to get it up to the same level as Warren County in particular is because both Warren County and Washington County support SUNY ACC. Warren County pays more than SUNY than Washington County pays. But we're lagging behind in the dollars that we receive. And 2 years ago, we approved the addition of the building over there for the NSTEM program, the nursing science, technology, engineering, and math wing that they built. And the payment for that is someplace around $180,000 a year. And that revenue was hopefully going to come from this 0.25% increase. Now, because it hasn't happened, that has to come out of the budget at the county. And it just eats into the amount that's available because of the tax cap, and it'll have to come out of fund balance. But there's one more shot at it for this year. This is a midterm election year, and not too many people, usually politicians, who want to say, I'm raising taxes. So I'm not so sure that that's what's going to happen with that, if anything, at this point in time. Last but not least, I will mention that this past Friday, the DEC was here, and the purpose that they were here was to inspect the Hadlock Dam, and we will get a report of their inspection sometime in the near future. So that's all I have to report on this evening. Next, the town board members. Debbie?
Well, earlier this month, I went to a, presentation from Meals on Wheels to show board members how they do everything. I was very surprised to find out that the meals were made at the prison, at Washington County facility. So naturally, my first thought was, wow, meals prepared by the prisoners, and the answer to that is definitely not. There are 5 paid employees that make all the meals there, and I was like, well, that definitely would make me feel a lot better. It's just, they said a lot of people really believe that and won't apply for Meals on Wheels because they're afraid that it's made by prisoners and stuff. So if you know anyone that might be eligible for Meals on Wheels or whatever, it's a great program. And it's not made by, they're all paid employees that handle the food 100%, and they make pretty good meals. They did give me 2 flyers and asked that we put them up in our town hall for people, so that you are. But at this point, for 40 residents, they only have 10 residents, so they hire out a driver from CWA, and if anyone is interested in contributing, their time or something to driving, it takes like about 2 hours a day to deliver the meals. That's all, and they could greatly use the help. That's it.
Gretchen?
This sort of goes along with what Debbie's saying. I've got information from the Washington County Office for Aging and Disabilities. I've got lots of information. I think it's up on the bulletin board as well. There's a event coming up in Argyle. Special event. It's The Little Mermaid, a play and a dinner at the Argyle Central School. And if you wish to attend, it's $5 donation, and you should get reservations by April 13th. There's also information on Medicare, all kinds of senior activities, Medicare and TRICARE. I'm not going to read all this, because I think you people can read it if you're interested in looking at it. Know the 10 signs of early detection matters for Alzheimer's and different diseases. There's lip reading classes available. Caregiving and adult support groups, all kinds of things available for people over 60. So don't be afraid to look at the bulletin board. Again, I've got a lot of information right here that anybody's welcome to look at. A few months ago, we decided that we would be making a plaque for Mary Jane Godfrey, and it finally is here. So it says Mary Jane Godfrey in memory of and appreciation for 31 years of dedicated service to the town of Fort Anne as town clerk, May 10, 1982 to August 30, 2013. So, and this is what it looks like, and it's going to be hopefully posted up here in the building. We've been working on the kayak launch that floated away, and we finally, we got it. We finally have someone who will fix it. We had some quotes, and we asked the person if they could fix it for under $3,000. And I've got, we had various quotes, but it was for parts. So, and the people who sold us the kayak launch in the beginning gave us a quote as well. But of this quote, $739 is shipping. So, and that's under $3,000, but I've got a person who can build all the stuff and repair the kayak launch for $27.50. And he can make a lot of the stuff himself with aluminum. And I have to say, and I'm not trying to help my family, but it's my son-in-law, John Batchelder. He works with aluminum, and he knows how to fix things. And he offered to do it, and I said, okay. And he gave us a quote for $2,750, and I'd like the group to look at this and see if you're willing to go with him. He's been over to look at it, and he feels that he can get it fixed and looking pretty decent for that price.
It's, then you can have the vote.
Okay.
Accusing yourself of that.
Yes, definitely.
Let's discuss this for a moment. Any of the board have any comments regarding what this proposal is about?
You know, the other company that said that they had to ship the stuff, was that?
That's the original company.
That's the original.
They're out of Florida. And they're the ones, the kayak launch was purchased through. And obviously their price is higher because of the fact that they have to do it in the shipping cost.
So was that for them to fix it as well, or just?
No,
Just send the parts.
Just the parts.
Just send the parts.
Yeah.
For the piece that
And
damaged.
he can make them
Yeah.
and do all
Understand.
this.
That would make us lose the grant for,
No,
because it's a different company now.
No.
We still have the grant.
any comments? No? Any further discussion on this? Yeah.
Flotation device on that, we're missing one flotation.
He went according to what Vern had.
Supervisor,
Yes,
I'll make a motion that we go with Mr. Batchelor to make repairs on that.
so you need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Why don't we do a roll call vote on this?
Councilman Fletcher,
Yes.
Councilwoman Witherell,
Yes.
Councilman Hall,
Yes.
and Supervisor Moore.
Yes. Gretchen. And you know what, let's make sure Papa gets a copy of that. Okay?
Yes, I will.
If you would, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Gretchen?
Yes. Let me see. On April 21st, there's a canal cleanup, a canal sweep cleanup day. And Sam will probably have a little bit to say about this as well. What the recreation and the town has, recreation committee and the town has done in the past is go down and clean up the area at the canal, the picnic tables and whatnot. Sam's group is going to do that this year, so we thought we would clean up the trail heading out toward Walker's and going south. So that's on the docket for the 21st at 9 o'clock. If anybody is interested in helping out to pick up papers, please, just make it look nice. We've got t-shirts to give out and garbage bags to put garbage in, so, or papers. So that's coming up. Also coming up is summer recreation, and the person who was the head of summer recreation last year has received another job and is going to be unable to to head the recreation this year. So I spoke with the CO West. His real name is Walter, but everybody calls him CO. He's the head of, he's the varsity baseball coach in Fort Ann. Teaches in Stillwater, and he lives in West Fort Ann. Has children in the school, so, and he's very interested in being the head of the recreation department. So, if anybody has anybody else or has any comments about him, I'd like to hear. He seems like he'd be a very good fix.
We can hold off on comments probably until we do the resolutions.
Okay.
We'll do that at that time.
All right. Okay, so that, and you'll probably want to add to this, the Champlain Canal Way Trail.
You know, that's listed under new business,
Oh, okay, so I'll let that go.
but even though it's not gonna be new business, we'll just hold off until
Okay.
that time, okay, you might can do it then. All right.
You're not letting me talk again.
Sam, what's next?
Yes, Supervisor. I had three things I wanted to touch on. The first thing was I'll build on what Gretchen had said. The park down here by the canal is dedicated to Eugene Albuquerque, who was very responsible for its inception and the follow through to see that it was completed. Gene was a member of the Fort Ann Rotary Club for many years, and at the time of his death, he was still a member of the Fort Ann Rotary Club. The park has been named after him. So when Gretchen indicated that the town was going to do their portion of the thing, I asked her if the Fort Ann Rotary Club could have responsibility for actually cleaning the park itself and planting a couple trees and planting some flowers, and she graciously said yes. The Fort Ann Rotary Club cleans the park down there 4 times a year. We pick up the garbage, trash, clean off the tables. If we need to have the tables repaired, we work on that as well, because there has been some times where they tried to steal, the tables, broken legs, and those kind of things. And we will be meeting at the same time, 9 o'clock on the 21st, and anyone that's not a Rotarian who would like to help certainly can join us as well. The other things that I have 2 other things to report on. The first one I report on is a summit that I had the opportunity to attend on behalf of the town back in March 20th of this year, 2018. It's called the North Country HABS Summit Ticonderoga meeting. And what HABS stand for is the harmful algae blooms. And it talked about what are the HABs and what in New York State is being done. They had a whole panel there from the Department of Health, Department of Environmental Conservation. They had land conservation was there. And in fact, when they started out, they had so many dignitaries sitting at the table that the group from Ticonderoga, class from Ticonderoga had been brought in, and they had to leave to go back to school before they actually got the introductions all done. So, because their class time was all up and they needed to go back. But anyways, I learned a lot of stuff that we can pass on to the lake manager at Hadlock, and I also discussed it with Gretchen tonight, because there are some things that, well, it hasn't been a problem at the Pilot Knob Beach. It could very well at some point in time. And it talks about what is blue-green algae. It's microscopic organisms that naturally in lakes, streams, and oceans, under certain conditions, they form dense blooms that discolor the water, produce float scums. And why is it green algae a concern? Some blue-green algae can produce toxins, some do not. However, exposure to any blue-green algae can cause health effects in people and animals when water with dense blooms is contacted or swallowed, or when airborne droplets are inhaled. And it talks about how do you recognize them. But more importantly, it talks about the beaches and what should be done down within those swimming areas. And just going to provide Gretchen with this so that the instructors that we have there, the lifeguards, can be aware of this. For example, if the bloom is within the swimming area, you prohibit wading, swimming, diving, and any water contact activities in the swimming area. Post the beach closure and advisory signs at the beach and other shoreline access areas. And then if the bloom is outside the swimming area, advisory signs should be posted to inform beach patrons to protect themselves and their animals from contact with blooms. Staff should monitor the location of the bloom, and if it moves into the swim area, water contact activities should be prohibited and a beach closure sign should be posted. I got a real education out of that while I was up there, and I thought it was only appropriate. I'm going to be giving it to lake management. We'll also provide Gretchen with a copy so she can do what she feels she needs to do up to the beach to make sure that the participants at the beach are protected. Little did I know that when Mr. Moore called me, I said, sure, I'd gladly do this thing. That it went from 9 in the morning until a public hearing ended at 8 o'clock at night. But shame on me for not reading the agenda before I went.
Yeah, nice job, Sam.
The next thing I'd like to report on is the Battle Hill Trail Committee had a meeting. I have a meeting summary here. And in attendance were the members of the committee, which was myself as chairman, George Sherwood, who represents the American Legion, Christine Milligan, who represents the American Legion, Dale Greenell, who represents the Fording Historical Society, and then Tracy Coldier and Mike Penich, both from the LA group. Now, the way we decided to handle this for the minutes, and to handle this because these will become the official record for the town here and for the individuals to go back and to report to their respective groups that serve on this committee. We will have the meeting summaries done. The minutes at that point in time will be distributed to the committee members. The committee members will then have approximately 2 days to review those, and if there is something that they felt was discussed differently than what's in the minutes, if there's something they want added to the minutes, if it's something that we don't agree on that's in the minutes, then to call me so we can work that out before I come here and report to the town, number one. And number two, before they go back and report to their organizations that they represent. So there is no confusion about that. At that point in time, once that's been done and report here to town, then we will provide a copy of the minutes to the media outlets and to our town clerk and ask her if she could post those on the Fording website so everybody has access to them. There is nothing more confusing than to go out of a committee meeting and everybody have their own interpretation or understanding, because as you're aware, you can all sit in a meeting and not hear the same thing. So this is an attempt to make sure that we all understand the process, what we've committed to as organizations and as town members to go on. So tonight I'm going to read you the first meeting. It took place on the 3rd of April. Introductions were made, the committee members were introduced, and Tracy explained the role of the committee is to guide the process and development of the project. 2, we talked about the in-kind reporting. Sheets are distributed for reporting volunteer hours that will serve as a match portion of the grant. All time spent directly on the project should be recorded and turned in to Tracy monthly. The project overview and tasks. The mission of the project is to provide access for archaeological education and training so that the importance of Battle Hill is never forgotten. Reports should provide an accurate timeline of accomplishments to date regarding grants and other strategies in the protection of Ballard Hill. Committee will review and update the list below. Now I'm going to refer to the ABPP throughout the minutes, and what that stands for is the American Battlefield Protection Program. The ABPP documented the Battle of Fort Anne by the APP number New York 215 in 2001 and reported on their survey of the battlefield in the program's 2007 Revolutionary War and War of 1812 study, and it has a number for that. And the 2007 study lists the Battle of Fort Anne as being a Priority 2 Class C battlefield. The American Legion Post 703 received an $800,000 grant from the National Park Service's American Battlefield Protection Program. Our researchers at the Public Archaeology Facility of Binghamton University conducted historical research and battlefield delineation to better determine the locations of battle-related landscape features and their integrity and research potential. The information gained from the project will enhance the interpretation of the battle and help to inform preservation and development of the area. Fort Anne Historical Research and Archaeological Investigations of Battlefield, April 8, 2015. Research based on a grant from the American Battlefield Protection Program to Raymond W. Harvey Post 703 American Legion, and the report was prepared by Michael Jacobson, PhD, RTA, for the Raymond W. Harvey Post 703 American Legion, and Christine Elman, Master Archaeologist and Grants Manager of the National Park Service. Land acquisition of $320,000 purchased through a grant from the Civil War Trust with the ABPP grant and landowner donation of $110,000. Agricultural Stewardship Association holds conservation easement, and Town of Fort Anne is the landowner. Report on archaeological survey and evacuations, final dated February 15, 2018, and research based on a grant from the American Battlefield Protection Program to Raymond W. Harvey Post 703 American Legion. Report prepared by the same individuals I had just indicated in previous paragraph. Hudson River Valley Greenway Conservancy Trail Grant. Develop a master plan for a public trails network. Total project cost $40,000. Funding $20,000 in grant funds. The required match of $20,000 will be provided through in-kind services, cash, and other programs. Now, this is the grant that we're currently working on to do this part of the project. The National Register application, first attempted in 1927, SHPO may have written up the criteria for the new application, and Christine Milgan is going to find out the status and next steps after the application. So some of this may have been done way back in 1927, have a report that we can utilize to either be updated or to actually meet the criteria. The LA Group will review background reports and historic information from above reports. The LA Group will provide a map of property owner and boundary information to advance the potential sale of the lands just south of the site. A site investigation or field trip will be conducted on Tuesday, April 17th, meeting at the Town Hall at 9:45 and the rain date of April 19th. Tracy will provide a road map for the trip and have a map to record resources and terrain information. George Sherwood will be our guide. The LA Group will be developed inventory of site conditions and trail opportunities in the form of a map and narrative. George will obtain a property map from Lord Chadwick at the Washington County Real Property Tax Office. The LA Group will also complete an inventory and assessment of environmental features and resources and appropriate maps. This will include identifying where key environmental hazards are located and sensitive environments are located. Sensitive information about dig locations will be used to avoid trails in those locations. A list of required permits and approvals with timetable will be completed for the project. The trail concept plan will be developed in two versions, as a draft and final. The plan will include plan, view, layout, and design narrative with recommendations for trailhead locations, trail alternatives, lookout locations and signage placement, potential connections to the Empire State Trail / Champlain Canal Trail, Lake George, conceptual wayfinding and interpretive signage plan, and construction cost estimate and potential funding strategy. Public participation for the plan. A total of 3 committee meetings will be held. A single point person for all questions from press and public is Sam Hall. All calls should be referred to Sam. Sam will provide monthly summaries to the town board. A presentation of the draft master plan will be made at one public meeting will be held at a date in June to be named at a later date. So that'll be the date and location for the public hearing. A presentation of the final master plan will be made to the town board of the final plan. Meeting summaries will be posted on the town website. And we update those as they go along, but I have a list of the next meeting and when we plan future meetings that hopefully that Barb will be able to get that posted on the town website as well. And I'll just ask, are there any questions on the report? Yes, George?
You said 800,000, 80,000.
80,000.
80,000.
Did I say 100,000? Yeah. I stand corrected. Please make sure you edit that so it's 80,000 so I don't get lynched. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, thank you, George. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, Mr. Supervisor, that concludes my report.
Okay, Denny?
Boy, you guys are gonna be tough to follow. We had a meeting, cemetery committee had a meeting after the last town board meeting. What we're gonna do, I've already done a couple, check the cemeteries over and report to Paul. So, you know, if something needs to be done, he'll know ahead of time what he needs to have up there for equipment, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, the one up here doesn't need anything. The one up by me doesn't need anything. The one down here, by Dale's, it doesn't. Yeah, Needhamville, that's okay. I've gotta check out 17, that's the only one I haven't been able to get to.
Otis.
Yeah, Otis, and then George, you and I'll go and do the rest of them if you want.
Yes.
I'll get a hold of you, or you get a hold of me, and we'll just go and do them. But that'll give Paul a heads up. So, you know, nothing needs to be done, but if he needs to have, for example, his chipper in there because of limbs and stuff falling down, he'll know ahead of time. Hopefully that'll help him out. The other thing we discussed was there are no places to bury any of us unless we have plots in Fort Ann. So, I mean, that's something probably we're gonna discuss every time we meet. I don't know the possibility of purchasing land, I don't know where that would stand, but right now, if you don't have a plot and you're from the town of Fort Ann, unless you choose to be cremated or perhaps buried in another town or whatever, we don't have a place to bury people. And I didn't realize it until we had the meeting, so. The plots, if you have a plot, you're gonna be good, and if not, then you have to make decisions, so. I think next time we meet, we'll discuss that. Again, it all comes down to money. That's what it comes down to. So, other than that, nothing. Thank you.
Alrighty, next, report from the town clerk.
I gave a check to the bookkeeper along with the report for March 1st to March 31st, indicating what the $469.89 was for. And I just want to remind anybody that's with the Historical Society or the library or Sam with the Rotary, any functions that need help, please contact the school. The National Honor Society kids are always looking to do community work, so always remember to get in touch with the school. And that's it.
Okay. Paul is not here this evening, so go on to the enforcement one.
Got my report, 5 building permits, no demo, 26 phone calls, 4 voicemails, 18 emails, 5 texts, 2 in-office visits, 14 meetings, 9 letters, 4 follow-ups, and that's it. Anybody have any questions? Open the discussion.
Does the board have any questions? Alrighty, is
Thank you.
there anyone that's going to represent the Historical Society?
I was just gonna bring up that I mentioned last fall about the signage around here, somewhat in bad shape, other than we need signage. I use, for example, Kane's Falls is probably, people don't even know where it is, and yet it's the most famous picture of the revolution. Everybody in even California knows what it looks like, but don't even know where it is. People who live here don't even know. There's no signage pointing to it or nothing.
It used to be.
Yeah, it's but I had a meeting, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago anyway, and archivists, I guess I would call them, I came from the Canal Association. There used to be, they used to build boats behind, where the sails in there, there used to be a boat, manufactured boats there and fixed them and everything else. That was way back, but I mean, I don't know what people want as signage, but people come from away. We're gonna have a battle here where people come, but it'd be nice if we could, you're not gonna have any buildings to look at, not many, but you can have signs that this is where this was, that's where that was. And, we have to prioritize it because signage costs. it's about $1,000 a sign, so I mean, you just can't do it. Other organizations will, it is grants and it is other organizations that help out, so I mean, it is a way. But the ones that are up, it should be, some of them can be painted or repaired, you know, so that's all I got.
Supervisor Moore?
Yes.
I just have a question, maybe Gail knows the answer to it. Do you know those signs that are already up, the blue ones with the yellow?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Are those, were those put up by the state, or are those?
Most of them put up by, some were put up by the state and some were put up by the Washington County Historical Society.
Okay.
But mostly the Washington County Historical Society has been trying to keep them up, but there's so many through the county that
No, I
it's a lot
understand.
of money.
I'm just curious as to who actually had
Yeah,
the for doing
the
it.
Washington County Historical Society has been repairing some of them, and then each town, some of them repaired some of them.
The old church.
Yeah, I don't know,
The
yeah.
Historical Society did that, wasn't it?
I don't know, I know it was done, but nobody told me who did it.
Yeah, the Historical
So,
Society.
what I'm getting at, when people drive through here, when tourists go through here looking for certain things to look, and I was just telling like, South Bay Village, there's a lot of things happening in South Bay Village and stuff that way back. And nobody even knows about it, and I can go on forever about the history of this area, so, what I'm just saying is that there's a lot of important spots here that people don't even realize, they just walk over every day and don't even know anything took place.
Deal?
Yeah.
The $1,000 a sign, that's for the metal?
Yeah, but they do have the cheaper ones, made out of aluminum, I guess they will how you put it on, but, and then again, if somebody's got 22, they put bullet holes through them, so.
Yeah, forget that. I think Terry Barber brought it up.
Yeah.
About redoing some of the signs.
Yeah. He's working on the sign down here on, canal, you know, yeah, Pocket Park, it's nice.
Okay, all right, thanks.
The Lake Hemlock Park Manager isn't here this evening, so there was no report on that. The dog officer is not here this evening, but he asked that I cover with the board the letter that he sent to us last week, that he'd like to have posted on the website if dogs that are stray and dangerous or control of dog issues. And does anyone have any comments? I thought the letter was very well done. I mean, it's informative so that people know who to call in certain situations, because it's not always, the call is not always go to Todd Hubbardston, the dog officer, there's some other people that have to be involved in certain cases. So, does anyone have any comments? If not, I'll ask Barbara to post it on the town's website, okay?
Yep.
Alrighty, now we'll go Gretchen to new business, how's that? Gretchen and I have been to many meetings regarding the trail. We thought there was gonna be something, to put under new business this evening, but late Friday afternoon, I got a phone call saying that what was gonna be new business was off the table. What the new business was gonna be is we thought there was gonna be the possibility of having a pedestrian bridge at Dewey's Bridge Road for the trail to go on to Comstock and then eventually onto Whitehall. But after 10 days ago, I guess it was, Gretchen, about that we had the meeting, and there were people from DOT, people from Comptroller's office, and people from Whitehall, people from Fort Ann, trying to move money around that the state had to build this pedestrian bridge. However, after looking at, DOT looked at it, it just became too cost prohibitive, and that's not gonna happen. So it's not, if we're gonna have to, the new business piece would have been to come before the board this evening and ask that the town own the bridge, the pedestrian bridge, and the town maintain it. But there's no reason to try to pass that resolution, because it's not gonna happen. And so, Gretchen, do you wanna talk about the alternative at this point in time, what's being explored?
Well, we're exploring going over the bridge here and taking an immediate left and going along the canal for a good distance, and then heading up through the campground. New people own what used to be Patrica's campground, and they're very willing to make a trail going up through their campground for snowmobilers and bikers or hikers or whatever. And then hit the road, Clay Hill Road, and heading right down to Deweysburg Road, and then North and South Quarry Road. Go by the prison, hit Route 22, and then head over and hit Route 4, and head up toward Whitehall. Not Route 4, old Route 4. So that would keep us off Route 4. That's just a thought right now. We're in the process of talking about it and trying to get it done. They have the money, they're willing to do it now, and the campground is willing, but we're gonna have to talk a little bit more to finalize things.
Thank you.
Anything else?
You know, like, it changes every week, it's.
Well, yeah.
I think now that the Dewey's Bridge thing has been, axed.
Yeah.
Now we'll be able to move forward, I think,
It just cost way too much money, it was over $2 million.
$2 million bucks.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Southport Road closed off at one point, well,
It is,
Yeah.
Right by the, as you go around the corner. If there's a log and there's still a trail there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda are the resolutions, and the first resolution is number 66, Barbara.
Resolution appointing Director of Summer Rec Program, whereas the town board wishes to appoint O.C. West. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fort Ann Town Board hereby appoints O.C. West as the 2018 Director of Summer Recreation Program at an annual salary of $3,000.
And his name, formal name is Walter West,
Yes.
so we're going to use Walter West for this. Any further discussion needed? I vote aye.
Aye.
Any nays, any abstentions?
I need a motion.
Okay.
I'll move it.
I'll second
Hold on,
it.
wait just a second. Who made the motion?
I did, Sam.
And Debbie, second, okay. I vote aye.
Aye.
Any nays, any abstentions? Okay, next, resolution number 67.
Resolution appointing 2018 volunteer lifeguard for summer rec program. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fort Ann Town Board does hereby appoint Gretchen Stark to serve as a volunteer without compensation of any sort in the town's summer recreation program as a lifeguard for the summer of 2018.
Need a motion?
I'll move it.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion needed? I vote aye.
Aye.
Any nays, any abstentions? Next is, resolution. 68, you're abstaining?
I'll abstain,
Number 68, resolution for highway superintendent to request for proposal for tree removal service. Whereas the Fort Ann Town Board has money in the 2018 highway budget for this service, now therefore be it resolved that the Fort Ann Town Board authorizes the town Fort Ann highway superintendent to go out to bid for tree removal services.
So we need a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion needed?
Yeah, just, do you know, is there, one area of the town that's indicated, that's, I know it's town-wide, but if there was one that was more heavily concentrated than the other. Okay. Just curious.
We just wanted to, in case there's a need for, to use some service from some tree service,
Got it.
that the highway department people can't do, we also have it, on hand just in case it's needed. Okay, I vote.
Aye.
Any nays, any abstentions? And Barbara will do this, next resolution will be number 69, for the circles of the chairs in the main area of the town hall. So we need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion. 69 chairs.
To surplus the chairs, in other words, when the new chairs come, these, we can try to sell, I'm not sure what we'll get to them, but, we can try to sell them. And so we need a motion for that?
So moved.
So, Debbie did, do a second, correction? Any further discussion needed? Aye votes aye. Any nays, any abstentions? Okay, next on the agenda is the opportunity for the public, comment. Public comments, is there anyone in the audience that would like to be heard this evening? Dale?
You're talking about the trail, the one thing I did mention, we're trying to figure out a way to connect the Ballard Hill Trail with the other trail, just an Oxford, I don't know how, it's a stump trying to do it, but it'd be nice if they use that trail and get over and go through Ballard Hill too, so it wasn't brought up, I just thought it should be.
Somebody had suggested, to build a bridge
Yeah,
from the old state route four
Yeah.
over to the new state route four. If this pedestrian bridge is $2 million, can you imagine what that thing
yeah,
would be?
right, so I know, but I'm just saying that we are trying to figure out if
There
we,
will be some, we did have some discussion about that at the last meeting, where the trail will be going down on the old north and south route
yeah.
four. There's gonna be some signage in, about the Battle Hill. Anyone else like to be heard this evening? Since I see no other hands, let's close the public comments. There's no need for an executive session this evening, so we need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.